All right, let's cut to the chase. You want to hack my paper on Indian traditional knowledge? You're looking for the cheat codes, the exact keywords and concepts that are going to get you the best marks? Look, the professor in me should probably scold you for looking for shortcuts, but the pragmatist in me, I respect the hustle. So let's forget about pulling an all-nighter just to cram. Acing this paper isn't about memorizing a million random facts. It's about understanding the blueprint. And yeah, I'm going to give you the insider's guide.
Honestly, if you write what I'm about to show you, you'll basically force my hand. I'll have no choice but to give you a great grade. So, you ready for the only cheat sheet you're going to need? Let's dive in.
First up, the state. To get any of the ancient Indian political thought, you have to understand the one problem they were desperate to solve. I mean, what was the absolute worst-case scenario they were trying to avoid?
It was a concept called Matsinyaya, the law of the fish, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Total chaos, where the big fish just eat the little fish. This is a keyword you must use. It's the why. It's the reason the state, the king, and all the laws were created in the first place, to stop this from happening. This idea is the foundation for the entire unit.
Now, pay attention. If you only remember one thing from this section, make it this next slide. I'm not kidding. This is a guaranteed question. Get this right, and you're already well on your way.
And here is the solution to that chaos, Kautilya's Saptanga theory. The idea is that the state is like a living body with 7 essential limbs. You've got the king, who's the head, the ministers, the eyes, the fort, the arms, and so on. Every single part is vital. A weakness in one limb puts the entire body at risk. Just list these 7, explain how they all depend on each other, and boom, you've just aced a huge part of your paper.
Okay, so that's the big picture of the state. Now let's zoom right into the individual. How was an ideal life supposed to be structured? Well, ancient thinkers had a really clear blueprint for that too, covering a person's entire journey.
The key here is to understand the 4 Purusharthas, or the main goals of life, and it's all about balance. You've got Dharma, your moral duty. Artha, the need to build wealth and be successful. Kama, enjoying life's pleasures. And finally, Moksha, the ultimate goal of spiritual liberation. The point wasn't to choose one, it was to balance all 4.
This idea of balance was reflected in the societal structure, organized through the Varna system. This was a framework meant to keep society in order by defining everyone's role. You had the Brahmins, the priests and teachers, then the Kshatriyas, the warriors and rulers, after them, the Vaishyas, the merchants running the economy, and finally, the Shudras, who provided the essential services that supported everyone else.
And this societal blueprint was mirrored in an individual's life, which was split into 4 stages, or ashramas. Think of it like a 100-year plan. The first 25 years, you're a student. The next 25, you're a householder. Family, career, the whole deal. The next 25, you start to withdraw and reflect. And the final stage is all about seeking spiritual liberation.
And that brings us to that ultimate goal, moksha, or liberation. The idea was that if the state and society were stable, it created the space for individuals to really pursue these different philosophical and religious paths to freedom.
Now, 2 major paths that emerged were Buddhism and Jainism. For your paper, just nail the key difference. For Buddhism, the problem is desire. The solution, extinguish desire to end suffering. For Jainism, the core idea is ahimsa, absolute nonviolence in thought, word, and deed. That's the path to purifying the soul.
And when you talk about Buddhism, you have got to include the 4 Noble Truths. It's a beautifully simple, logical framework. 1. Life is suffering. 2. That suffering is caused by our desires. 3. The good news is, it can end. And 4. Here's the path to do it. It's simple, powerful, and a core concept you have to mention.
You also can't really talk about Indian philosophy without mentioning Sankhya. It's one of the oldest schools of thought. Its huge contribution is this idea of dualism, that reality is split into 2 basic things: Purusha, which is pure, unchanging spirit, and Prakriti, which is all the material stuff of the world. Understanding that split is key to a lot of other philosophies that came later.
Later on, this search for the divine became way more personal with the Bhakti and Sufi movements. The key takeaway for your paper is what they had in common. Both basically rejected rigid rituals and social barriers, and instead preached that a direct, loving, personal connection to God was a path open to absolutely everyone.
Now, all this deep thinking about the universe wasn't just abstract. It actually led to some incredible scientific and technological breakthroughs. This is a great section to drop some really specific, impressive facts.
You have to mention the Aryabhatiya.
This text by Aryabhata was completely revolutionary. I mean, he was arguing that the Earth rotates on its axis and gave a calculation for pi that was unbelievably accurate. It's a cornerstone of Indian math and astronomy.
In medicine, you've got two essential texts. Just remember it like this. Charaka is for curing diseases. It's like an encyclopedia of internal medicine. Sushruta, on the other hand, is for surgery. The Sushruta Samhita is basically a surgical textbook, detailing complex operations and the tools needed to perform them.
And if you want one perfect, tangible example of their genius, talk about the Iron Pillar of Delhi. This thing is over 1,600 years old. It has been standing outside in the elements all this time, and it's barely rusted. It's a stunning piece of metallurgy that we still study today.
Okay, so we've covered statecraft, society, philosophy, and science. Let's bring it all home now with the single most important tip I can give you for this paper.
After all that, what is the real hack? What's the secret that ties all these different concepts together and gets you that top grade?
Here it is. The ultimate hack is to connect the dots. Don't just list the Sabtung theory, the ashramas, and the value of pi as separate facts. Show me you understand how they form one cohesive worldview. A stable state allows for a structured society. That society provides the framework for an ideal life. And that life creates the space for profound philosophy and brilliant science. It's all connected.
So here's the bottom line. These aren't just historical facts to be memorized. They are blueprints for order, for meaning, and for discovery. The ancient thinkers gave you a comprehensive plan for everything from running a country to understanding the cosmos. Your job for this paper is not just to report on what they built, but to show me that you understand the logic of their design. Do that, and you'll do great. Good luck.